Welcome to the Elements of Spirit readings for the week of July 17th, 2017. These are weekly readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether for you from ediblespirit.com, and I, your host, Michael Domitrovich. Yeah, so you check this one out, listen to this reading. This is the ether reading, which is the reading which describes the space of the week in which all the other elements are vibrating, and then you can check the description below this reading for your primary element as it is connected with your sun sign. The sign that's associated with the date of your birth is associated with one of the classical elements of earth, air, water, or fire. And you can read the description below this, get that element, listen to the ether, listen to the other element, and there's your elements of spirit for the week. Okay, so they quiet down now, but the crows were going nuts a minute ago, and the message coming through the ether this week is you can make magic. What does that mean? That means you can affect material change through immaterial means. We are all creators. We are all magicians. We are all able to make magic. You can make magic. Okay. Just trying to see how this is manifesting this week. Okay, so the idea is this simple. Yeah, you can make magic, affect material change through immaterial means. It's saying to prioritize the invisible. Prioritize the invisible, and then, like any good hallucinatory trip, set and setting are key. What is your vibration? What are you emitting? What are you attracting? This has something to do with Venus, too. This is all very Venusian, what we're talking about here. Venus being the planet of material change. It's very interesting, you guys. So this is been doing these readings now since December of last year, so more than 6 months. This feels different today. Last week felt interesting too, but today feels different. The ether usually feels like a very channeled, direct parcel kind of delivered, and this is that. I mean, I see the message, but it is very swirly, because I think that for every single one of the signs this week, for all of the elements, we're dealing with a lot of potential for change. Okay, so the reason why it is Venusian is because we're talking about material change and attraction. So the guidance from the ether is to check your vibration. What are you emitting? What are you attracting? Usually it's the same thing. You end up attracting to you that which you're sending off from you. What is my physical state? What is my emotional state? What is my mental state? What is my spiritual state? So for the ether this week, we're prescribing a check-in. And The idea here is that when you check in with your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual state, um, you begin to heal because I can't remember the study right now, but there was studies a while ago, 70s, early 80s, where the electromagnetic frequencies in a person's body shift when anyone, but especially when a healer is perceiving them, because the healer is usually going into the body or into the energetic field with the intention to create positive change, change for the better. And the idea here is that when you observe your physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual state, you become the witness that is watching the state, witness watching the state. And when you become the witness that's watching the state of your being, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, maybe you don't change it completely in the way that you would like it to change for the better. So just because you observe your physical pain doesn't mean the pain disappears immediately. But it does mean that your consciousness is coming in on top of the pain. It means you're perceiving the pain from outside of the pain, or you are simultaneously having the pain and perceiving the pain. So at least you're a little bit detached from it, or at least you can see it a little more clearly, and you're not so enmeshed in the pain. I can explain it to you for me emotionally, because, that's what I carry around a lot of emotional, watery stuff. When I observe my emotional state, I can tell you, it's a little heavy, a little stagnant, a little deficient. I feel bright, I feel swirly because of this reading. But my general Michael state is like a little bit heavy this morning. But just by observing that, I can begin to work with that. And that's the first step in any healing, is starting with where you're at, just turning and reflecting and looking at the state of your being. And in this case, at the states of your being. I observe my physical state. I observe my emotional state. I observe my mental state. I observe my spiritual state. Each of those states is associated with one of the elements. Physical is the earth, emotional is water, mental is the mind, spiritual is the fire. And the idea is that, like I said, when you observe this state, you can begin to work with this state. If you are attempting to heal, then when you observe this state, you can begin to make changes for the better. What is a change for the better? That could be a material change, could be an emotional change, could be a spiritual change, but the idea is that you can make magic. Going back to the beginning of this reading, you can affect material change through immaterial means. So they give us that brief little juicy sweet observation exercise, because if you think about it, your emotional state, your mental state, your spiritual state are not necessarily material arenas. But what the guidance is saying is that if you can observe and adjust your non-material self, if you can observe and adjust your vibration, what you're emitting and what you're attracting, you begin to work with immaterial means that ultimately affect material change. So this is not one of those weeks where I'm like, ooh, something big is happening on Wednesday or Thursday. Something big could happen at any day of this week. This is more so about what can you do. It's saying you're going to affect the most material change in the world this week through these immaterial means. So I guess what that would say too is, like, trust that the work that you've done in the last few weeks, 2-3 weeks, is not only coalescing, but like really trying to coalesce. And the question is like, what can I do immaterially in order to speed that plow? What can I do in the non-physical realms, in the non-physical planes, in order to encourage this physical manifestation to occur? What can I do in the immaterial realms in order to encourage this material manifestation to occur? Because that's my definition of magic. As I started at the beginning, it's like, how do you affect material change through immaterial means? I would actually argue that the whole process of living is, and being here and incarnating on Earth is like a process of affecting material change through immaterial means. We just tend to think that we are affecting material change through material means. It's like a very bam bam mentality of like bam, 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 bam. I hit it so it goes. um, as opposed to like I meditate upon the spark of life, igniting the engine and mobilizing all of the internal forces to carry this vehicle to its desired destination, could literally mean that an anomaly occurs and you just start rolling downhill in the direction that you want to be going. But the idea is that this is a good week to test out those immaterial means to do anything and everything that is not practical, and to keep your vibration, that which you're emitting and that which you're attracting to you, as bright and buoyant and juicy and authentic, sweet, fun, fluid, true. True is really the word. Keep your vibe true. So it's saying, like, if you're depressed, let yourself be depressed, but remember that you can find a moment of poise. I won't even say peace, but like a moment of poise in the midst of your depression, where you can remind yourself, like, okay, I feel this way right now, but I'm doing everything I can. I'm working really hard, and maybe there is something else that I can do. But the idea is no pressure. You don't have to go and achieve something else or put yourself in a new situation. The idea is there's probably an adjustment that can be made internally, even a slight one, like, I'm not going to try to fix myself today. That opens my heart. I hope that opens your heart too. I'm not going to try to fix myself today. I'm not going to force myself into a new box. I'm not going to try to control anything around me. I'm going to adjust my internal forces. If I can't see myself more clearly physically, I should also mention, I had a beautiful day yesterday. I had brunch and I had all these lovely munchies and delicious foods. I feel totally like swollen, bloated today. Okay. Now that could be something that could make me unconsciously anxious. It could manifest immaterially and just put me in a little bit of like a fidgety state during the day. But if I observe my physical being, as I just did with you right here, right now, so I observe my physical being, it's not gone. I still feel puffy, but I'm on top of it. I know it's there. It's not going to sneak up and bite me in the ass. And if I have acknowledged my physical state, it means that I can commence adjusting my physical state. I can commence to working with my physical state. Mentally, I popped awake very quickly and early this morning and just couldn't seem to stop the monkey mind from running. And rather than toss and turn, I observed it. I was like, oh, your mind's moving really quickly this morning. Might as well get up and make some coffee. So it seems simple, but we don't usually do it. Prioritize the immaterial means that we can use to affect material change, to prioritize the invisible. Prioritize set and setting as well. So the idea is, what is your environment and who are you around and how is that environment and how are those people affecting your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual state? Because even though the person is physical, the relationship is less material than that physical person and presence being there with you. Setting is key, because even though it's a physical space, your relationship to that space and your relationship to all people is going to dramatically increase or dramatically affect the quality of your vibration, what you are emitting, and therefore what you are attracting. And in relation to a space that doesn't have to be the most perfect space in the world, it can be the most comfortable space that you have available to you at this moment. can create a state of anxiety, or it can create a state of peace. To make choices about the environment that you place yourself in, even if it's less than desirable. Make choices that can make your immaterial relationship to that environment more positive, and make choices about the people that you're surrounding yourself that can prioritize and say, okay, maybe there's like an obligatory hang, or this person that I'm supposed to be with or be around, that I don't, that if I'm prioritizing my immaterial experience, if I'm prioritizing my emotional, mental, or spiritual state, maybe I can say no to this encounter in order to prioritize the invisible, the set, and the setting, to be observant of my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual state, in order to make sure that that which I am emitting and that which I am attracting, my vibration, is as choice as I can possibly make it. Why? Because you can make magic. You can make magic. You can affect material change through immaterial means. And I encourage you to focus more on the immaterial aspect of that this week than the material. Check yourself, check your state, check your vibe, check your space. Let's see what the rest of the readings say this week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. In all of my swirly, summery excitement, I forgot to include your affirmation for this week. I wrote it down. I just forgot to highlight it. I think the sun started getting a little bright. Your affirmation this week. I observe my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual state. Say that slowly. Physical being your physical body, emotional being your emotional body and state, mental body being the quality of your mind and how it's moving, spiritual state being your overall state of being. I prioritize the immaterial to make magic. I prioritize the immaterial to make magic. So this takes that after, well, the initial message of I can make magic, you can make magic, you can make magic, and reminds you that the way to do it this week, the way to make seemingly impossible material change occur, is not through the material means, it's through the immaterial means. So I observe my physical, emotional, mental, spiritual state, pausing in between each of those to check them out. I prioritize the immaterial to make magic. Okay, so I think you can use this one during the week to sort of check in and just remember to reflect and to get on top of those states to see if they're out of balance. I thought there was something coming through in the middle, which is like I adjust my set and setting accordingly, but it's not. It's just saying, reminding yourself gently that the immaterial is what's going to make miracles, make magic this week, not the practical. Okay, we'll see what happens in the rest of the readings. Thank you for your time. Bye.